What's up, y'all? It's your boy AJ, and this is AJ Reacts 2, where I review movies, music, TV, trailers, and more. Before I start the video, I want to say head down and smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to let you know when I drop new content. Today is a big day. We've seen a lot of movies this summer, and the summer is coming to a close. So today we're gonna count down the worst to the best movies of the summer. So starting at number 32 for the worst movie of the summer, Men in Black International. The reason I say that is because the story was just kind of cliche, it was predictable, and I didn't really feel the connection between the characters, and it didn't really have much going for me. One good thing that I can say about this film is that the effects weren't bad. The CGI and things like that, they weren't bad. Rolling in for number 31 is Dora the Explorer. I think it was actually called like the Lost City of something, Lost City of Gold or something like that. I kind of got into it a little bit. It was kind of a fun adventure, but it just really fell short. It was really corny. I know it was a family movie, but I've seen better family movies than that, so that's my number 31. Number 30, Don't Let Go. There wasn't a whole lot wrong with this film. It was mainly the story. It was really confusing. The acting was cool. The effects were cool. It seemed like it had a good budget. I'd say that. 29. A Dog's Journey was cool. It was like a TV movie though. It's something that you would turn on the TV because the acting was, I mean, Dennis Quaid was cool, but everybody else in the movie, it wasn't mainly about Dennis Quaid's character. So like they deviated from his character, and it just, the acting was really shoddy. My number 28 is gonna be Yesterday, and the reason why I say that is because I saw the previews and I was expecting something else after I watched the trailer, and when I saw the movie, it fell short for me. Number one, I don't think the main guy, he didn't really have the voice for it. To me, that's my opinion. I know, people really enjoyed this film, and the story was really slow. Like, I was expecting more from it. Something good about it, I can't say the acting was good. Kate McKinnon, I'm not a big fan of Kate McKinnon, but everybody else was cool. 27 is gonna be Aladdin. And Aladdin the characters were really dry to me. I haven't seen the original Aladdin, and people are like, that's a classic. I don't know, after seeing this, Will Smith carried the whole film pretty much. The effects were really cool. I like that. So I'm trying to think of like things that are good and things that, weren't great. So if the characters had more flair, more flavor to them, I probably would have liked it more. 26, Detective Pikachu. It took me a minute to get into this one. I didn't really I didn't know what to expect with this film, and it threw me off a little bit at the beginning, but as time progressed and now as we were getting into the movie, I enjoyed it. 25, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. This film wasn't very scary. It had, frightening images or whatever, but, the storyline, it wasn't very relatable. It was kind of a new twist, and I liked how they did the story, and I liked how they did, how she was writing as, they were, living it. Other than that, The acting was okay. And I guess it's supposed to be a sequel to it. I mean, that's how they left it. They left it as a cliffhanger, and I was like confused on how they're gonna continue the story, but we'll see. Number 24, Ma, and Octavia Spencer knocked this out of the park. I had some issues with the story and the decisions that the kids made throughout the story. I think overall I pretty much enjoyed this film. There were just some nitpicky things I didn't really care for. Number 23 is Child's Play, and I heard a lot of negative reviews about this film, but I kind of enjoyed this film. It was new, it was fresh, and it was a remake of the 1988 film, but I like the twist. I like what they did with it. They didn't have the same concept. It was the same concept, but it wasn't projected the same way, so I enjoyed the twist. And whenever you have like a killer doll on the loose, it's gonna be a little cheesy, so I think that's probably the negative that I would throw at it. But other than that, maybe some pacing issues or whatever, but other than that, it was cool. Number 22, The Intruder. I think this is one of the most underrated films of the summer. It kept me at the edge of my seat, and there were some decisions that were made by the characters that, I thought that was a little bit of a lazy writing, but, overall, this film kept my interest. It had me kind of wanting more at the end, so, I mean, what can you say about that? 21, The Kitchen. Elizabeth Moss, Tiffany Haddish, and Melissa McCarthy got together and they made a drama. They made a mobster movie, and it was really different for them. Like, I know Elizabeth Moss does more drama and things like that, but Tiffany Haddish and Melissa McCarthy, they're more into comedy, and seeing them doing that, it was a little bit off-putting, but overall, they did a really good job, and I think this is a very underrated movie as well. I know critics really didn't like it, but sometimes you gotta just take the film for what it's worth. 20, Good Boys. And this is like a hangover style film for middle schoolers, and it was a little off-putting to see these characters and these actors, these young actors, be as raunchy as they were. But when you get into the story of it, it was a coming of age story, and it had a lot of funny one-liners, but it wasn't Oscar worthy. Number 19, Godzilla, King of the Monsters. I know, the title kind of sucks, but the film wasn't that bad. Millie Bobby Brown, we saw her in a different role other than 11, so we kind of had to put 11 out of our mind and then, kind of accept this character that she's playing. The plot line was a little cheesy at times, and, but this is based on a movie, old classic movie, so they kind of tried to stick with the platform that they were given, but had a modern take to it, and I loved how they added more monsters and they added more creatures, and I think that's kind of what Godzilla needs because, this story is kind of tired. We've seen a lot of Godzilla films. 18 is Midsommar, or Midsummer and Midsummer. I never can remember how to pronounce it, but film, I did a review on this one. I said that the cinematography was just glorious. It was beautiful, but the story had a lot of pacing issues. It was very slow and, not a whole lot going on. So, and then they just dropped the director's cut that was longer, and I'm just like, why would you want longer? Maybe just to see more cinematography. That's what I would see it for. But, it was just kind of long. That's what I thought. 17, Shaft. I really liked this film, and I really thought that it was underrated. Samuel L. Jackson, When he came on the scene in the film, that's when everything started. There was a point in the film at the beginning of the film, they didn't really have Samuel Jackson in it at all. So leading up to that was a little slow, but once he got on the scene, it was over. The movie was great, and it was really, really funny. 16 is Tolkien. The story is kind of the upbringing of the hit author J.R.R. Tolkien, and he's known for making the stories like The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. It really kind of opened your eyes to the mind of J.R.R. Tolkien. So I really enjoyed that, especially if you're a Lord of the Rings fan. I think you'd enjoy it. 15 is Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. It was a dumb movie, but it was fun. Dumb and fun. The plot really didn't have anything to do with Fast and the Furious. It didn't have anything to do with street racing. It was kind of ridiculous, but in a good way. 14 is John Wick 3, Parabellum. They had a fourth one in mind for sure when they made this film. They opened up kind of new plot lines and things that, you know, could be a continuation of the story. The action was like amazing, and I think they kind of wanted to take it up a notch from 1 and 2, and that's what they did. Number 13, Long Shot. Long Shot, Seth Rogen, Charlize Theron, they worked great together. Some parts of the film were a little slow, but you kind of just got to take this one for what it's worth. 12 is Annabelle Comes Home. They added more creatures, they added more entities. Decisions made by the characters were very questionable, but by the end of the movie, everything makes sense. Number 11 is Crawl. This movie gave me such anxiety, and I think that's a good thing for a film. I think when you can sit at the edge of your seat and really be interested the whole time, I think that's a good thing for the movie. But I don't know how memorable this film will be. Number 10, Stuber. This film, I didn't know if I was going to like it or not. Kamal Nanjiani, he played the Uber driver, and Dave Bautista was the cop. He was blind the majority of the film, and that was very funny. There were a lot of funny one-liners, and this movie, I think, is really underrated as well. Not going to the Oscars, though. I tell you that. Number 9, Rocket Man. This film was so good. It was like I got lost in another world type thing. It was like mind blown. The acting was phenomenal. Taron Egerton tore it up. And I'm trying to think of something negative about this film. I don't have a lot to say. It might have been a little long, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it all the way through. I don't have a lot bad to say about it. Number 8, Lion King. Like I said in my review, it was a little emotionless. There were, times that we didn't feel the same emotions that we felt from the original in the same circumstances. But I think it was just because they couldn't really manipulate the facial structures, and the voices just kind of didn't line up. But the effects were phenomenal. I believe this one might be an Oscar winner. All right, y'all don't want to hear what my number 7 is. Y'all don't want to hear it. But it's Dark Phoenix. Dark Phoenix was one of my favorites of the summer. Definitely one of my favorites of the year. The effects were amazing. I love the story. The villain didn't get much, detail, but I feel like we didn't really need that. We could argue about this all day, but it's one of my favorites. Number 6 is Brightburn. It was the evil Superman. And I loved how they did like a little horror twist to it. It was definitely a spin on the story. Number 5 is Spider-Man Far From Home. And there were like nitpicky things about this film that I didn't care for, such as the storyline, things that happened in the story. The effects were great, and I really don't know what they're gonna do with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. It's kind of up in the air. Sony has said that they're parting ways with Disney, and it kind of looks like the end of that, era. But, we'll see. Number four is ironically Toy Story 4. The tears were flowing, man. It was very emotional. And with an animated film. Came close with Inside Out, but this one, it took the cake. Number three is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This film was great. It really had a lot in it. It had drama, action, and you could really connect with the characters. You felt their emotions. You felt what they were feeling. And that's amazing if a film can do that. Number two is gonna be Booksmart. And this film was hilarious. The one-liners were really funny. I just had a lot of fun with this film. And last, but certainly not least, Avengers Endgame is my number one film of the summer. I know that it came out towards the end of April, but it's a summer movie. This film takes the cake. I did a review on it at the end of season 2. A lot of shocking moments and kind of like an end of an era. And they set the tone for what comes next. So if you like my summer list, head down and like this video, smash that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, head down to the comments and let me know what your favorite movies of the summer were. Find me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, AJ Reacts 2. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.